Hello guys, welcome back to our channel Life Review. My name is Deb and today we'll be reviewing episode 3 of Isaac Asimov's Foundation series on Apple TV. So in this episode we see the inner workings of the genetic dynasty. Of course nothing we see in this part has any basis in the books because there was nothing called the genetic dynasty written there. This episode is set 19 years after the last episode. Brother Dawn has grown up, Brother Day has grown old and looks like Brother Dusk from the last episode, and Brother Dusk is about to retire and ascend. By ascend, I mean they will fry him and toast him to dust. I thought the emperors will grow out with some dignity and beauty, but nope, they are simply fried. Even though this episode is not derived from the books, but it was interesting to see the dynamics between the various genetic members of the emperor's family. We also get an insight of how the entire dawn, day, dusk, and darkness cycle goes on for many years. It seems Demerzel is the clockwork which keeps the dynasty going. She is at the heart of everything and is in charge of initiating the cloning when the time comes for a new emperor and is in charge of frying the old version when it's time for them to go. She even has to be firm with the emperors as we see here when she shoves Brother Darkness into the frying machine. Much focus is given to Demerzel in this episode, and we see that she is not some mindless robot but has emotions and feelings. We see her interacting with the original Cleon from the books, which was a really nice touch, very emotional. She seems to miss him and remembers her time spent with him, and becomes sad when each iteration of the Cleons are turned to dust. Her character is very much changed from the book version, but it's interesting to see where they are going with her. There is another time jump of 17 years, and we see the baby Cleon grown to a teenager now and already changing things. I think this version of the Cleon will be radically different from the previous versions which we have seen till now, and he is going to stir things up in the future. It was already foreshadowed when Brother Dusk was about to be incinerated and the clone started crying. I think there is something to that. We will see. Then we cut to Terminus and see what the encyclopedists are up to all these years. But there is not a word spoken about the murder of Harry Sheldon or about Rage. The last episode ended on a cliffhanger, but we get nothing about why and what happened after that. No scenes on Rage or what happened to him. We do not see him in this episode at all. Instead, we are introduced to a bunch of new characters. There is a gender and race swapped Salvor Hardin, who I quite like, surprisingly. She seems tough and efficient. We see how the colonists are making decisions about what knowledge to preserve and what not to. And we see a little of how the colony functions. Then they drop the biggest change, I think, in the entire series till now. They say the vault is something which was already present when they landed on Terminus and that it is something made by aliens. When I heard the word aliens, I was really surprised. I'm really not sure why they decided to include aliens here. As you know, there were no intelligent aliens, alien civilizations, or alien artifacts in the original book series. The vault itself is shown as a black monolithic structure, which reminded me very much of the artifact from Arthur Clarke's 2001 A Space Odyssey. If they are really trying to go that way, this will be a big change, which I am not sure of. It might work out, it might not. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Also, they have introduced some mystical elements in this episode, which again I am not very sure of why they did that. Salvor Harding sees the vision of a child running away from her. Following him each time makes her discover something important. First time she sees the Anacreon ship, and the second time she discovers that intruders from the ship have already landed secretly on Terminus. Coming to my thoughts about this episode, this was very well made, as are all the episodes which we have seen till now. People who have not read the original books will not have any problem with this, and if you can see this with an open mind, with no comparison made to the books, you will start to like this too, as I am beginning to. The visuals are breathtaking and very beautiful. The tech that they are using in the series is beautiful and believable. As an example, I would like to point the statue of Harry Sheldon that we see on Terminus. It has a 3D printed texture to it, which seems to imply that it was created with technology instead of wasting valuable resource and time just trying to chip it from the rocks. It's believable. Terminus looks lived in. Very much like we see in the Star Wars movies and series. Speaking of Star Wars, I was reminded at multiple points of Star Wars, but It's inevitable, as George Lucas was inspired from Foundation and Dune in many points of his while making his Star Wars series. So that's it for today, guys. Do let me know in the comments what you thought of this series, what you liked, what you disliked, and I'm eagerly waiting for episode 4 to drop. Let's see where they decide to take the series from here. Goodbye and stay safe.